Welcome to another Sunday morning rant with me. For some reason I can't get the camera to sort of fix its white balance. I don't know what's going on, so it seems to be going in and out, and I've tried a couple of times now. Anyway, we're going to see where we can get to. If it works okay, then it'll work okay. So if you observe the practice, this is Mothering Sunday. So obviously you're taking your mother out for a Sunday lunch, or you've taken her out for breakfast, or you've taken her out for dinner. I, on the other hand, I'm not taking my mother out today, and the reason I'm not taking my mother out is because we went for a very nice Chinese last night. We decided that we would get better service by going on Saturday night than going out on Sunday with all the masses and the crowds. So we had an extremely nice Chinese, and I'm not with my mother today, but I have phoned her this morning to wish her happy Mothering Sunday. And if she watches this, which I sincerely doubt, happy Mothering Sunday, mother. I didn't do the rant last week. I knew I wasn't going to do the rant last week. I was in the middle of the court case to try and unwind my financial affairs with my ex. I thought I would, and I didn't do it on purpose, because I thought if I say something while we're in the middle of the trial, then she will probably find out about it, and she would probably bring it to the attention of the judge, and I would probably get bad brownie points scored. So I didn't do it. I have to be honest and say it's one of the most horrible experiences I have ever been through. You effectively have your life laid bare in front of a judge with somebody cross-examining you, and they cross-examined me for 2 days. And hopefully my case stood up because I stood my ground. Anyway, I sympathise with anybody else who's ever been through this process, because it's the first time I've been to court, it's the last time I ever want to go to court. But that's not why we're here. We're here because it is the Sunday morning rant. So the week before I went into court, there was an event which has been hashtagged TSR19, which sort of stood for Thomann Synth Reactor. So it happened between the 14th and 17th of March over in the Bergbach, Germany. I got it right. Which is where Thomann are based. And Thomann, for those who don't know, are a big music retailer. They have a big showroom in Bergbach, but they also have a massive mail order supply network. So it's and they hold a lot of stock, or they can get stock very quickly. And it works really well in Europe. It will work until we leave the European Union, of course, in the UK, but it has in the past, for me, worked extremely well. And I've got a lot of equipment from them, but not mainly the keyboards per se, because I find that getting keyboards and certain pieces of equipment is easier to go to the toy shop in Guildford, which is close to where I live. But getting ancillary pieces, Thomann is extremely good for. So cases, hard cases, soft cases, racking, all the Gibraltar stand equipment I've got in the studio, all that came from Thomann because they have such a good selection. Anyway, they did this Thomann Synth Reactor, which is TSR19, obviously 2019. And what they did, the basic premise behind this was they basically got in touch with a whole bunch of YouTubers who do YouTube videos about music and equipment and anything in this realm, and they invited them to Bergbach and said basically that we're going to throw the doors open for 3 days, and they put marquees up in the grounds of the warehouses, and they stocked the place absolutely to its eyeballs with vintage and modern equipment. And then they allowed the YouTubers free reign. They had rooms set up where you could book a room for an hour, select a piece of equipment, go into that room for an hour and make whatever YouTube videos you wanted to make. So just basically film, get stuff in the can, as they say in Hollywood. My friend Bruce would like that. But that's in essence what they allowed you to do. And then Thomann, on the other hand, they then filmed the YouTubers, filming their content, so that they could then publish that on their website to say this is all about TSR19. And you know, everybody who went to TSR19 said it was a fantastic event. There's about 60 videos so far that have been published from YouTubers, and you know, these are some of them I've never heard of, I have to be honest, because I don't follow their channels, and some of them I follow their channels, like Dr. Mix. He's in London. He does a lot of sort of deconstructed type stuff. Here's a synth. I'm going to deconstruct this tune, and here's how the sounds were made. Brilliant stuff. I watch him all the time. There's another guy called who runs a channel called Synthmania. He's out on the west coast of the US. Again, fantastic musician, got loads of back equipment. He's sort of a bit like me really. He's got lots and lots of legacy old stuff. He was there. There's another guy called, I think he's on the premise of his channel was called the 8-Bit Keys, but he's more known to me as the 8-Bit Guy. He does a lot of stuff about sort of legacy computer stuff like the ZX Spectrum, the Commodore 64 and bits like that, which sort of harks back to my youth because I had a Spectrum and I had a Commodore 64, so completely rubbish for creating music on, I might add, but what he was talking about was all the sort of, he's moved on, he's got another channel now called the 8-Bit Keys channel, and it's all about 8-bit chips that then ended up in synthesizers and what sort of music you can make with them. So yeah, that's quite interesting stuff. Anyway, I saw those guys sort of floating around. I saw a couple of other guys I recognised, but I don't recognise their channels. So that could just be that it's a different channel. I've never logged onto them before. But they went, they filmed, and the content is slowly starting to release. If you want to see what they did at Synth Reactor, go over to Thomann's website, which is Thomann, THOMANN.de, and then go to their bloggy area. And you'll see all about the Synth Reactor and who was there and what equipment they had, and pretty much they had. I saw Jupiter 8s and Junos and legacy Yamaha stuff, and oh god, what's the electro, the Norwegian guys? Oh, that's all red. Oh, it's gone. But you know who I mean. They do the stage piano. But yes. Nord. Sitting there, right on the tip of my tongue, Nord. But they were all there. They were all there. Loads of the big manufacturers, loads of the smaller manufacturers. Well worth going and checking out. Go check it out. So I'm not going to do any more on that because I didn't get invited. I'm not big enough. Actually, even if I had been invited, I couldn't have gone because I was going to court, so it was a bit pointless. So the other thing I wrote down, because on my last video I sort of held this package up and said, oh, you know, that's for next week, and of course I didn't do next week. And to be honest, I haven't even opened it. So I started opening it this morning, I got to about this far and then thought, no, what I'll do is I'll stop so that I can actually open the final bit on camera. And I'm probably going to regret this because the guy who sent it to me has wrapped it up so well. I think it's going to take about 2 minutes to get it out of all the wrapping. Hang on. Let's see. Oh. We're getting there. One go. Oh. This is ridiculous. Hang on, I've got to get rid of it. This guy must have had a ton of bubble wrap. Excuse me, I'm just going to throw this beyond the camera. It's still got more. Well, I've got to be honest to the chap. Definitely wrapped out well. So you're going to say, what is it? So I have bought a second one of these. So I bought my first one of these about a year, or probably more than a year ago now. And I've been using it quite a lot, but I haven't, I've had instances where what I want to do is sort of double the sound up. And whereas this is really good because it gives you a stereo signal out, you can't double it up, you can't layer on top. It's sort of one sound, that's it. And I wanted to double things up for a couple of things I've been doing. And this all of a sudden arrived on eBay and I thought, you know what? And it wasn't expensive. That was the other thing about it. I mean, it's got a few marks on it. Well, you know, what do you expect for something this old? But it wasn't expensive. In fact, it was extremely reasonable. I paid 150 euros for it, I think. So it came from Spain. The guy who had it has obviously finished with it and sent it across, and I bought the second one, so that's going into the studio. It needs, the power supply needs to be sorted out actually. Even though quite happily over here we can run 220 volt 50-60 hertz machines, I don't know whether you can see that at the top back. If I do that, can you see that that's only got a 2-pin supply? So I will whip that out and I'll put a proper 3-pin adapter in there for UK voltages, and then properly ground the box with the earth pin. So I'll just open the other box up, look how it's earthed, and then I'll re-earth this one. The only reason it's done like that is because obviously in the UK we have this sort of this 3-pin arrangement, whereas a lot of Europe and a lot of the rest of the world, to be honest, they don't have an earth, the concept of an earth in the devices, so they only supply equipment with 2 pins, which is obviously the live and the neutral. So I will swap that over to make it a UK standard spec. It's not a very big job. Well, I suppose actually I'm just thinking about it, it might be a bigger job than I thought it was, because you normally used to be able to go and pick those pins up, those adapters up from Maplin. And for those that don't know, Maplin in the UK, which was a electronic E-type subscriber, much the same as what Radio Shack used to be in the US, well, they went bust last year, so they are no longer. So I'm not quite sure where I need to go to actually pick the parts up. Might have to be mail order. Oh well. Say no, V. Didn't think about that. So that arrived, and the other thing that arrived is already arrived, was these arrived this week as well, and these are very all wrapped up. So again, those of you who know, who watch the channel, know I have an S50 synthesizer, and these all arrived this week. There was a whole bunch of discs I saw for sale, which is the original voice crystal disc for the S50. So again, I can't remember how much they were about 10 euros I think, but more discs for the disc library, so they will be going onto the hard drive and then obviously getting saved across for posterity. So yes, and I will be making public announcements about what's going to happen to the disc library shortly. I already have orders in from certain individuals. Yes, I do know I owe you discs, so that's where they're going. Other than that, I'm going to shut up. It is Sunday. I'm going to do mailbag straight after this, so if you see mailbag arrive with me sitting wearing exactly the same as what I'm wearing now, don't be surprised, because that's what I'm going to do. In fact, actually, one of the mailbag items is really interesting. It took me quite a long while to actually write the response. So, and it's all about studio setup and power conditioning. So if you want to sort of like check that out, feel free. Other than that, you know what? It's time to shut up. So, live long and prosper. Or is it live long? It's this one, isn't it? It's live long and prosper. Bye-bye. So this is the point in the video where I turn around to you, my viewer, and say, if you enjoyed the content of this video, please give it a thumbs up. The way the Google and YouTube analytic engines work is that the more likes you get against a video, the more it gets promoted by YouTube and Google, and therefore more people with the similar interests to what you have and I have get to see this content. This channel is driven by my love of music technology. That's what it's called, the Music Tech Guy thought. If you've got queries, want to ask questions about themes or issues I raise on this channel, please, please, please do. Put your comments into the comment section below the video, and I will try to address whatever issue it is you've raised or whatever question you've raised. If it's something to do with me making future videos in terms of how to do something on a particular piece of equipment I possess, please feel free to say that as well. I can't promise to make videos on all the requests I get, but I do have a jolly good go at making most of them. Around about here is the subscribe button. Again, to do with the YouTube and Google analytic process, the more subscribers the channel gets, the more the channel gets promoted, and the more people get to see the content that you have obviously just watched. If you want to see my latest video, it will be in one of these two boxes on this side of the screen. Also, there is a second box there, and that video will be chosen for you by YouTube based on your YouTube preferences. I look forward to the next time that we interact, and I do mean interact because I always enjoy reading your comments back to me. But for now, bye bye.